Welcome to the latest episode of The Altar, where I just got Ben today because Yimmer's off doing twink stuff at the dealership, probably. I don't know. So
Creating some sort of twink otter hybrid that we don't know about.
man, I wish he was here going to talk about like a hybrid twink car. Like it's actually a
Oh
hybrid,
god.
but it's run on twinks, maybe. I don't know.
That's
We're
that's just the Prius.
I like I like we start off with the twink stuff like immediately when Yimmer's not here, but we just make him wait 30 minutes when he's normally around.
Exactly.
Nice. Sorry, Yimmer.
He's just sitting there like, can we please stop talking about Austrian economics and talk about twinks?
I
Sorry,
would
dude, just hold on.
I wonder if he's like, I don't know if he listens to the episodes when he's not on. But that'd be funny if he get like the first message I get from him is like, dude, what the fuck? That's like my topic, and you guys started off like immediately with it. Like that's my thing. That's my bit. Like fuck guys. So today, I think we're gonna talk about Derek Chauvin, whatever
Oh
his
yeah.
last name is. Yeah, you know we gotta talk about that, baby.
Mm.
Um, because yeah, he dude. What do you think? Do you think they're gonna convict him?
Oh, there's no fucking way at this point.
Why?
Like all this shit coming out. So like you have the normal he's a cop. Like it's just that already statistically the odds are already in his favor regardless of what he actually did. And B, now you literally have the judge coming out and saying that Maxine Walters is probably going to cause a mistrial because she literally threatened to like have people like riot if they didn't convict him, which I'm going to be really honest, like in any other legal case like this across the country in any circumstance, if a politician was like, "Yeah, if this doesn't happen in the case, we're going to riot," like anybody could appeal that shit easy. Like
Oh
that'd be an
yeah.
easy like open and shut fucking mistrial case. Like at this case, even if they do find him guilty, like I didn't even know this was a thing that could happen, but like apparently the state can like appeal your fucking like not guilty decision from the jury. So like if the jury does go okay, not guilty, the state can go, "Well, hold on a second, we're going to appeal that." Which I guess, I mean, if the defense can do that, it doesn't make any sense why the prosecution couldn't. But I don't know if I'm wrong about that. But like, no, like even like let's say by some weird chance they do actually find him guilty, it's going to get appealed. It's going to get tossed on a mistrial. It's going to go to a higher court, and the whole fucking thing is just going to start all over again. Or they're going to redirect it back down to the lower court, and the same thing will happen. It'll just start all over again. So the only thing this is going to do is just piss people enough to start rioting, which summer's here, I guess. I don't know.
White boy summer. White
White
boy
boy
summer.
summer, baby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I was talking to my dad yesterday about it a little bit because he was actually I haven't been watching the trial because like I already know the outcome. If he gets convicted right now, I'd be amazed. But I mean, as you just said, like appeals and stuff,
It's
it's not gonna
not,
end that way.
yeah, like, yeah.
Yeah. So I was talking to him about it, but I was talking to my brother, the cop, this morning on the way in. And we're talking about the trial and stuff. He's like, yeah, it's like, probably like no way because the thing with like Derek, he was like not even on the scene or whatever. So it's like he had to get called there and like the ruckus stuff. And I was saying like the problem is you have to find a jury that actually is actually anti-cop, not this like fake shit to where they're like, oh yeah, well, like whatever. Like you got to find a
Yeah,
real
BLM ACAB. Oh my God, take away the guns, please. Make them take the vaccine. Stop it.
stop it. So like I'm like, there's so many factors of like if you want a cop convicted, like you need all this to be in play, and that's not the reality we're living in right now. So I'm like, this dude's gonna walk, and then
Mhm.
we started talking about other like cop shit today too. Oh, and then obviously like as you said, Maxine Waters, her statement of the incitement to violence, which is interesting. That is she going to get removed from office for that, or what's
Oh, of
up?
course not.
Yeah, of course,
Uh,
because I was looking at that, like that was funny as hell. Because like I don't read the news often. Like try to keep it to like super minimum, like through memes or
mhm,
something, or someone
right.
shares whatever. Like I barely even spend time on Facebook. I'm probably on Facebook for like 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes a day. Tumblr, 24
Just when you're
hours.
posting your Hitler 420 weed memes, that's all.
Yeah, that was bullshit. Like well, I got that appealed, so we're cool. It's
Okay,
back
good.
on.
All right.
Facebook allowed my Hitler smoking weed picture back on. So thank you, Zuckerberg, for giving
Happy
me a
420.
solid today. Um, Yeah, so the Maxine Waters thing, I didn't even know what the fuck she had said until like this morning or was it last night? I don't remember. Time's an illusion right now because
Hmm.
I didn't get to sleep till like 2 o'clock because my son's having some sleep regression. So
Hmm.
gang gang. So like I was like, gee, I'm like, this was like a clear call to violence, incitement to violence, and I'm like,
Yeah.
to be like we will not accept anything less than a guilty verdict and all that shit. I don't remember the exact quote, but she was literally saying that like get ready to be
Yeah.
violent, and I'm like, you were pissed. All these people were pissed they didn't get Trump, and I'm doing the Trump hands like, hey, listen,
Yeah.
right here. Like that you were pissed that they like the Republican congressman didn't impeach Trump on the incitement to violence on January 6th. And his shit was super vague that I didn't even take his crap as an incitement to violence because there has to be a clear like call to action, right?
Yeah.
And this is a clear call to action that if they don't get
Yeah.
the
It really
outcome
is.
or whatever, so we're not going to see anything on that because obviously no one cares when the left does it, right? Like, well,
Of course.
no,
Oh, so
yeah, go.
there's so about the peaceful protest in the Capitol building on January 6th, the mostly peaceful protest. So you know how like a couple like at the time it was a Capitol DC officer was killed in the riot, and then it was he died a couple days later, but his complications may have been from the riot. They just released another report that said he suffered a series of strokes completely unrelated to anything that happened at the Capitol on the 6th. His death was ruled as natural causes, and they had a fucking funeral for him at the fucking Capitol in DC, like he was the fucking unknown soldier, and they were putting him back in the fucking tomb. And
God.
it's like, oh yeah, sorry, he just had a stroke because he's a cop, and they don't take care of themselves because they're assholes. Oh,
Yep.
speaking of, you're talking to your brother about cop stuff.
Mhm.
What specifically are we talking about? Like wife beating, planting drugs?
All the above, dude. Everything.
Not
Everything.
all right, cool.
Shooting blacks. Um,
Of course.
I mean, the neighborhood he patrols is like pretty much all white anyway, so I mean, he's
Oh,
like,
okay.
not many black people to shoot, but he's still
So
doing
with
it.
that
So good for him.
mustache, he's the minority at
Yeah.
night,
No, he doesn't have
passing
that
through.
mustache anymore. That was just like a
Oh, he doesn't.
one-off thing. Yeah, I think he just shaved because he had the beard going for a little bit, and then he shaved
Oh,
it for
okay.
like the porn cop stash, briefly for I guess the hilarity of it.
Mm.
No, we're talking because we talked about the Chauvin case. Is like, yeah, it's like there's like no way, um, because of like the reasonable doubt, for the case, like reasonable like that, like was he intent like because you have to prove that he was like a like what are even the charges? I don't even know. I'm talking out my ass right now.
I don't even. I think it was. I don't remember if it was second degree or if it was manslaughter. I really don't remember. But
It's
like, yeah, it's.
yeah, well,
I don't know.
whatever it is, it's like you got like you got to prove that he meant in some fashion. I think to do that, or even if
Mhm.
not like involuntary manslaughter, it's like, well, he was just doing his job. The cop was just doing what he was trained to do. So we'll make sure in the future that they're not trained in such a fashion.
Yeah,
Like they'll be 2% less lethal with their knee to the
two
back of your
percent.
neck.
Yeah, exactly. You'll just have mild brain damage as
Yeah, just
opposed to
like really
actual
mild.
death.
We were like, so we talked about that, and we talked about the 13-year-old in Chicago that got shot recently.
Oh, so that one, that I am actually torn about. So I've seen that video from a couple of different angles. That's like obviously I'm not going to like say that the kid deserved it because I don't know all the facts of the case. But from what I saw, he was being real fucking twitchy. And everyone's like, "Oh, he had an airsoft gun, he had a BB gun." If you look at what he had, and like you could see it in his hand in the video, he does what looks like he tries to like throw it behind a fence right next to him. And like if you look at the gun, like it looks like a Ruger handgun. Like you have absolutely no way of telling. There's no orange tip. If there was an orange tip, it was modified at some point, which is, like if you're gonna point a gun at a cop, like use a real one so you can actually defend yourself,
in
as opposed
Minecraft.
to an air in Minecraft, as opposed to a Minecraft airsoft gun that you modify to make look real. Because if you're like, oh shit, now I actually have to like shoot somebody, be it a cop or some other gangbanger or somebody from the HOA, you just got BBs, so you're fucked.
Yeah, cool. What he said in the video is like it was just because it was night, wasn't it? Wasn't because I didn't watch
Mhm.
the video. I don't watch these videos because I
Yeah, it
usually
was
just get
dark.
mad.
It was at night.
Okay. So, um, so with the video, like what he was saying in the video, is like, yeah, it's one of those things like you could see, like, but it all happened in a matter of like a second or two, where the kid
Mm-hmm.
tosses the gun, but he whips around real quick to put his hands up, and the cop was like, I mean, that's where like I get one of those things. All cops are bastards. Let's just put
Of
that out
course.
there. It's like you got like again, a lot of these people that like watch these videos don't apparently live in some other fucking universe or some reality, a different timeline that I'm unaware of. To where, like, if you whip around that fast with a cop, like on a cop, and you just had a
It's
gun in
just
your hand, guess what's gonna
yeah,
happen? And
you're gonna
anyone
die.
reasonably could say that like the cop was, actually fearing for his life, not like some kid with like a Nerf, like a big old Nerf gun that's clearly a Nerf gun, and like, oh, I
Exactly.
fear for my life. Like this isn't actually like a situation where a cop would be justified in shooting, and the cop only shot once too. Like it wasn't like
Yeah.
if the cop unloaded a magazine and then just and proceeded to load another one, then there's some
Then we'd be like, what the fuck? But yeah, it was one reflexive shot because he fucking spun around real quick.
yeah.
And like again, this kid, like, I don't know what he was thinking. He was probably thinking he could just toss the gun to the side real quick and the cop would have like no idea and he'd just be able to go on his way. But like he was clearly attempting, like he knew he was doing something wrong. Again, should a 13-year-old be allowed to possess a handgun? I think so, but that's a debate for another day. But
An Ancapistan.
yeah, and in Capistan,
How
thirteen-year-olds
how
can,
ANCAP works.
yeah, 13-year-old police officers should be able to be gunned down by 8-year-olds with their private machine guns.
Hell yeah, absolutely. Respect. Um so yeah, like
But yeah, like
that video, that's logically what's gonna happen. And even like even people would be like, well, if the social worker or whatever, right? Like a social worker, what's a social worker gonna do? But like in
social
Ancapistan, right? Like a social worker, hey, can you like not turn off the
social
gas?
worker is not going to be working after 5 p.m. on any day. Let me just tell you
Yeah.
that. Like, oh, they're like crisis social workers. Like, they are drunk at home on call. They get a call. They take an hour. They take a cold ass shower. They fucking show up to the fucking office, and then they take the child out of the shitty home and they put them in another home, and then they go back home and then they drink more. That's what social workers do. That's it.
Based. I want to be a social worker. Fuck, just drink all the time.
Hell yeah, dude.
So yeah, so that was that one where like yeah, just fucking don't like we're like in Ancapistan, that would be the same situation. Let's say, well, but it would be under different circumstances of the start because I think because Chicago has what my brother was saying was that they have a thing called shot caller, which alerts to gunshots in Chicago,
Yeah.
which I
So
didn't.
what it is,
Yeah, go.
Chicago has this. A lot of major cities have this, but basically, what it is, it's like a boom microphone. They literally put on a cherry picker. Sometimes it's like a trailer, sometimes it's an actual truck, but they hoist that shit up and they'll put like a couple of them around. So let's say you get a gunshot and it's between like three of these things, you can triangulate using those microphones where the shot came from and have somebody go there just to find out what the fuck happened. Because obviously, you send a cop to a neighborhood where there was a shooting, nobody's gonna fucking tell you a thing, especially in Chicago. So
Mhm.
they got to have fucking robots be narcs for them because nobody else will.
Base.
Hmm.
Everything based on Chicago. Sad I left. Not really. So yeah, so that was that. So Alan was like, I think it was justified. I'm like, well, I'll take because he's pretty consistent with like me. Oh, not like consistent as an anarchist or anything because he's not. But like when he like
Hmm.
with cop stuff going down, um, he's pretty much like, yeah, if it's a bad shoot or not. Like we're like like usually we come to the same agreement on what things are because like only thing he does is like write seatbelt tickets. Actually, I think he stopped doing that because he realized he actually agrees that it's not cool to give seatbelt tickets. So I'm very
Hmm.
proud of him for that. So maybe in a couple of years he'll just quit. I doubt it, but we'll
Yeah.
see.
Right.
Um. So oh, dude, I had linked him that New Mexico officer that got gunned down.
Oh, by the cartel dude. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because I linked him that. He's like, yeah, dude, I saw that. It was fucked up. I was like, imagine dying over some tinted windows, and he didn't respond to it. And he called me later that night and I brought it up. He's like, dude, that's a life, bro. That's a life. I was like, yeah, I know. I'm like, I'm
Hmm.
not saying it wasn't a life. I'm just saying that like this cop would be alive if he wasn't enforcing a stupid law. right?
Was it
Like
really over tinted windows? Is that why he pulled that dude
that
over?
was the start, right? So the start from the article that I read from the New York Post was that he, because I guess tinted windows are not legal or something in New Mexico. So he pulled him over for tinted windows, and the car had temporary plates, and I think the guy didn't have his. Yeah, shake your head. It's just
I
retarded.
just oh no, the most retarded thing about that is the fact that tinted windows are not legal in a state like New Mexico. Like, there's a very good reason why people tint their windows in New Mexico. It's not because they're trafficking drugs. It's because it's the desert.
Yeah.
But continue, sorry.
No. So no, what I was telling him, like it was that this thing where ended where like I guess he didn't have his license on him. So the guy's like, "Oh yeah, I'll come back to my car. We'll run your name and everything." And then as the guy was getting out, he noticed the rifle. I'm fairly certain of it. He's like, "Oh, for me, for the usual cop line for my safety and yours, can you hand that over?" But the fuck up was that he didn't get it right there and then through the door. Like he let the dude
Yeah,
walk out with it,
I
which was
don't
like,
understand the whole, like, "Yeah, hop out of your car, buddy, come to mine, we'll go run your name real quick." Like, you're supposed to tell him to stay in the fucking car. Like,
yeah, because that was like the weirdest thing. Like I've never
yeah.
seen like that, like it go like that when a cop asks for your gun or something. Like you usually pass it through the
Also, real
window.
quick, was that during that video? I don't remember. Was the cop wearing a mask during that whole interaction?
No,
All right, it was fake.
it's fake, false
It was fake.
flag. It's false flag.
I got pulled over a month and a half ago, and like both cops, like it was speeding, it was whatever, but they were both wearing masks when they approached the vehicle, and like every other time I have seen a cop elsewhere, they were not wearing masks. But for official shit, when they're on video, especially if there's a mask mandate, they have to be wearing a mask. So like again, doesn't really mean anything. It's just my little
I don't think he was
addition.
wearing a mask. I'm fairly certain he wasn't, but I could be wrong. But
Well,
like, dude, the cops out here don't wear masks. I got pulled over for my inspection sticker a couple months ago, bastard,
no.
with a mandatory $79 processing court fee. Fuck you, prick.
What the fuck?
Yeah, $30 ticket that I got waived, but I had no matter what, I had to pay $79 processing fee for court. I'm like, okay, you
Ah,
fuck
fucking
you.
Christ.
Well, the L that I have to take is that I could have told him I was on the way to get inspected, and he couldn't have given me a ticket, but I didn't know that. Apparently, because you can't, because Virginia's weird. Like you can't make appointments to get an inspection sticker. Like they have to drop everything
Mhm.
and inspect it. But all those places, like you got to wait because they don't drop it because they know they can, like
Okay.
no cop's gonna do whatever. So it's like, yeah, you just gotta wait. We can't make an appointment, but we'll get you in, whatever. But yeah, that's the thing. Just tell them that you're on the way to get it inspected right now. That's what you're doing. Of course, I was just like, yeah, I noticed it when when I saw you, because that's the inspection sticker. Because it wasn't my car, it was my wife's. Because I don't drive it, so I blamed her. So I went home and I beat her.
Figures.
I
Figures.
channeled my twin brother's cop energy, and I beat the shit out of my wife.
That
So
wasn't even cop energy. That was just righteous energy
it's
from
just
God.
righteous. I'm just righting a wrong here. It's like someone's gonna
Yeah.
pay the $79. Then the other one we talked about, I talked about him. Well, I was saying I brought up like Sam Hyde to him. He doesn't know who Sam Hyde is, but like this guy
Mhm.
was talking about like, yeah, if you want to get shot, like bring like a woman police officer, a female cop,
Yeah.
because their
No,
only
it was
defense.
like if you get stopped by a female officer, I'm praying for you, bro. And I was just like, yeah, actually, like in my experience as a dispatcher, I had an incident where basically Matt, do you remember at the time? Because I made a huge post about this on Tumblr that I tried to find and I couldn't find it
Oh,
because
I
the
don't
fucking tag system
just
sucks.
yeah.
Okay, so I was dispatching. I was a 911 dispatcher from like 2017 to 2015 to 2018. Excuse me. I want to say somewhere in the middle there. I want to say in 2017. There was an incident where, so I wasn't actually here when the cop actually got shot, but I was there immediately before. And then when they put out the, hey, we had an officer get shot, can people come in to help? I went immediately back to work. So, so there was this call. We got a call for an emotionally disturbed individual who's barricaded in a house with his family. And the wife was on the phone. He's like, yeah, he's suicidal. He's got a knife. He hasn't hurt anybody, but he's just freaking out. So the cops go and like he winds up, he's like on his like front steps in his underwear, like shouting and shit. And they're just like, hey, drop the knife, drop the knife. So he finally runs at 3 officers, and I cannot obviously give names and I cannot like give departments, but if you know anything about me, you can do research on this very quickly and find it all out for yourself. So there's 3 officers responding to this incident. There's one from there's like these 2 towns. One's a village and there's like a town, and they kind of work together all the time. So they had 2 officers from the town, and honestly, the worst thing that happens in the town, like a domestic, is like a husband and wife arguing about what they're gonna watch on fucking Netflix, and that's it. Like the worst prowler shit is like a 13-year-old like skipping rocks at the fucking lake at night. Like that's the extent of what they have to fucking deal
Do they have
with.
a rock collar over there? We skip
A
rocks like
rock
trying
collar?
they're like in the shot collar, the rock collar, like where they triangulate the location and shoot the 13-year-old kid for skipping rocks.
Exactly, yeah, and then they just push him into the fucking Mohawk River and he's gone. Nobody's gonna dredge that shit. But
Bye.
so okay, so and then there was this other cop from like the larger like town who like they've occasionally dealt with shit, but they're still very like sleepy small time bullshit. So they go and they're trying to talk to this dude, and it's 2 male cops and 1 female cop who I remember this girl specifically, like picture like your average, like kind of heavy on social media, works out a shitload, like could be attractive, would be more attractive if she wasn't a cop. Like, can you picture this female cop
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now? Yeah, okay, so that. She had been on the force, I want to say a year, maybe. So they go, and Homeboy is like, and just fucking runs at them. So they draw, and they go to shoot him, and it's like the 2 cops are right here, and there was the 1 cop in the lead, and there was one behind him, and then she is like over here. So there's 2 cops in the rear and 1 guy in front. They all 3 of them draw and start to shoot, and of course, since it's a fucking Glock, and this lady has a year on the force and can't fucking shoot for shit because she's a cop, what happens when you jerk your finger on a Glock trigger? The Glock goes like that. So when that happens, and you have a cop standing right here in front of you, and you're shooting, and your Glock goes, it goes right through his side, just missing his vest, catching like his flank, and then comes out the front. So he goes down.
What Ben was demonstrating for the audio listeners is that when you jerk like you hit the trigger, it'll shift the gun to one way or the other.
Exactly. Like, it's a very common thing, like when you're shooting a gun, especially a Glock and a handgun, and you don't have experience. We call it like Glock finger, but basically it's any gun really. You start shooting low and left because your trigger finger, you jerk, and the gun when you do that goes eh, like that. It's a very rookie thing. It's something you can iron out with training, and by training, I don't mean like hiring a Navy SEAL to like drill you from sun up to sundown every day. I just mean going shooting once a week, maybe a couple times a month in your police training facility with your taxpayer funded ammunition that doesn't cost you anything, that you can do and get paid to do, and it's fun, and you don't do it because you're a fucking cop. Why would you? So yeah, that happens. Shoots, gun jerks down, shoots her fucking coworker in the fucking back. So I get this fucking voicemail. I'm literally like, I had just worked from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. So I was on 12-hour. So if I could get mandated or if I could do overtime, I had maximum 4 hours I could do. So I get this fucking voicemail literally as soon as I get home. Hey, this is Al, who was the supervisor at the time, and he's like, we just had an officer get shot. So if anybody can come in to help, anybody at all would be appreciated. Anybody can come in to help. Officer shooting, if anybody can come in to help, thank you very much. And like every overtime voicemail or we need help voicemail always sounds like that, because they will put out like 3 of those a day. They probably still do, because they can't get anybody to work for them because they gave like golden benefits to everybody who was already working. So all of the boomers and all of the Gen X like dispatchers who are already working got like the primo, like you can take 3 days off and still make your double overtime holiday pay and do all of this shit. And then all of the new workers, it was like, yeah, you make 30K a year because your salary got cut 10%. You don't get holiday pay. You get less benefits. You're low man on the pole for everything. And so, okay, so all that shit aside, back to that. So yeah, female officer shot her coworker in the side while attempting to shoot some crazy upstate New York teacher, I think he was, who had a knife and was suicidal because he was running at the cops. Which, I'm going to be real, if you have like a big chunky white dude running at you and he's like on his steps and you're like at the end of his driveway, you have time to aim. You have time to like work that shit out and like it's an easy shot. I'm sorry.
Yeah. If you're a man.
If you're a man.
Amazing. So
If you spend time training with your handgun instead of training your fucking selfies when you're in your fucking patrol car.
Yeah. No, TikTok wasn't around at that point, was it?
No, it was Vine and
Yeah,
Snapchat. That was it.
Yeah, making your Vine posts like I'm a cool cop. Look at me. Look at this gun I'm totally trained with. But so I was talking to my brother about that shit. Where like making the joke about like if you want to get shot, you'll likely get shot if it's like a female officer. He's talking about, he's like, dude, that's like in training. That's very accurate because like with like the police training and stuff, the use of force bar is lower for women because they say in training that guys can do because they're more muscular most of the time, at least. I'm not trying to put down any women who do work out actively. Maybe I am, but so like guys like the male officers have like a bunch of stuff they got her told, like, yeah, if you feel threatened, like not like exactly, but like if you feel threatened, you just shoot. Like, yeah, so if
right.
if a female officer is called to your like, whatever, we're praying for you.
Yeah.
Let's see what that is. So yeah, going on with that. It's just, crazy cop stuff.
Christ. I can imagine that shit for like the male officers. It's like, all right, you have to feel threatened. There has to be aggressive behavior for the female officers. It's like, all right, you have to if there's zodiac sign, if you don't like that, then you can just that's enough for you to feel threatened. And then from there, have at it.
was the thing? It's like a white female officer shoots at like a suspect holding a Snickers. Like, can't help but being a Gemini.
Whoopsies, I'm a Taurus.
Yeah, Jesus, God. Yeah, police. As everyone who listens to this podcast should know, I need to reach out. I need to see how many conservatives listen to this and get like offended when I talk about cops. Or maybe they stop listening. I don't know.
They probably stop listening by that point, or they just keep doing it, and they're just like, "Oh, it'll get back to just regular memes and twink jokes. I like the twink jokes." And it's like, "Yeah, I bet you do.
Yeah, but you do.
Fucking conservative, fucking faggot. You fucking."
That's what's funny. Well, I had some dude. This is a while ago on Tumblr because I didn't realize how many people follow me that are actually like just basic ass Republicans and shit. Because I had some dude, because I was dunking on, I normally dunk on like Biden and the left and stuff like that because that's everyone's dunking on the right, so let's dunk on the left for the most part,
right?
Because that's whoever's in power. So I was doing a lot of dunking on Biden and shit, Harris, blah blah blah. And then I did something. Trump did some stupid shit, and I made some posts about it. And he like messaged me. He's like, "Dude, like, what, like, what's your political leanings?" I'm like, I got it in my bio that I'm a fucking voluntarist or an anarchist, right? Like, it's just not.
My pronouns are officer down, dude. Like, you knew that.
Officer down. So I'm like, no, dude. I'm like, he's like, I thought you're like, you're a Republican or whatever because like you love guns and stuff. I was like, yeah, I could love guns and hate all these politicians. So we got a conversation. Like, and he was cool, guy was cool and all that. But it was like so funny to me. I'm like, how many other people are following me? And I was like, what's funny is you can tell because they're all blurries, right? Like the blurry images, and you can tell who's the conservatives following you. But this guy wasn't a blurry, so I was very confused. Because I got a lot of I got a mix of everyone following me. And I know I got plenty of like anarcho-communists, anarcho-capitalists, a little in between. I got some mutualists I know of. I know there's got to be some regular like Bernie Sanders leftists following me that probably were before I was like dunking on them. We'll
Oh
see. I
God.
don't know. I got a lot of followers. I don't try to figure that out. If they get mad, they'll tell me. And that's
Hmm.
fine. What was the going back to like I must have pissed off some conservative the other day when I got that fucking anonymous message saying like I legit hope you get gunned down by a cop one day, and he used the N-word, which I'm not going to use because I'm only 0.003% black for the listening
Ah.
audience. So I need that 0.004% to be able to use the N-word, or I need to move to Africa, and then I could use it as freely as I want by the definitions these people use. Yeah. I was like, I didn't even say I was glad the cop died, but everyone knows. I'm just kidding. It was like I was just saying, like going back to the whole laws and stuff, like cops are enforcing. Like, dude, like you like the left breaks down like it was gun control bullshit, but you got to look at the start of it. Look at the catalyst for all these situations, and I'm like, you dude died because of tinted windows. That's why he died. And you're saying, well, should that drug cartel guy been allowed to run around? Yeah, because did you catch him hurting anybody? Right? No.
Exactly.
Now, if he like just shot somebody down, then yeah, there's no argument in
Mhm.
that case either. Like if you just gun somebody down, then yeah, obviously in any sort of society, the police force is going to go after this guy. He's going to get shot for what he did or serve
Word.
time on taxpayer time. So there's no argument there. Like a lot of people are like, oh, there's like this is open for debate, whatever. Like, no, it's really not. It really isn't. It's very simple to me. I could break this down very simply. Um, oh, and the other thing, dude, like with all this, like, because the right obviously is talking about they're pro gun again, but this one buddy who's my age who boomer posts constantly. So again, I don't know, maybe I'm a boomer too. I'm at 32, almost 33.
Mhm.
I'm not actually a boomer, but boomer mentality. But he like
30-year-old boomers.
he posted some shit where like until you leave your house, like leave your family to risk your life defending other families, I don't want to hear anything about like hatred towards the cops or the troops. And I'm like,
What does he fucking think he's a Taco Bell employee? Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Those are the real heroes.
yeah, dude, fucking yeah, not to my ass. I got a fucking civil suit going to Taco Bell for what that
You
quesadilla did. I'm
people
just
with
kidding.
your weak ass fucking colons. Jesus
I'm just
fucking
kidding. No,
Christ.
dude,
Taco Bell has never.
I was kidding. I was making the joke. Everyone talks about how they just shit out like when they eat Taco Bell. I'm like, I've never had that happen. Ever.
I've never had that happen. Excuse me. I used to use the
Probably because
bathroom very quickly. I'll be right back.
yeah, real quick. I haven't had Taco Bell in years either, so I don't know. But where are we going? Where are we going with this? We're going
Oh, don't leave your
ADHD.
home if you don't want to risk your life
Yeah.
to fucking
So
write fucking seatbelt tickets and
I made like
dislocate 71-year-old woman's shoulder blades for
Yeah.
forgetting to pay their groceries.
and I think I made a YouTube video about like the quick snippet of it. But I'm like, dude, what fucking reality are you living in where you think that's so the sole job of the cops and troops is to defend families? Like, because that's in reality the one I live in, at least on Earth One. That is not is what happening because like the troops aren't defend like the troops will even tell you that
Yeah.
they're not defending shit. They're like because they get pissed because their recruiter like they get in because everyone who's not in like active duty military or like who's never been active duty military or who's not an active police officer or was a former police officer, like all these people are talking out of their ass. They have this weird fucking vision of what the police and troops do. I'm like, have you
Yeah.
ever talked to a cop? I actually asked a cop this, or asked a former, like a veteran or a current active duty, because what like the troops will tell you, at least like ones I've spoken to, is that they were like they had this dumbass vision of the troops defending freedoms and liberties and all that yada yada yada. This grand plan, like, oh yeah, the government will pay for my shit yada yada. And they go to sign up, and the recruiter's like, "Oh yeah, man, like we'll get you, like you get the training you need, you get like once you're done with your service, like whatever, like blah blah blah." They'll sell you all this bullshit, and these people say like, "Yeah," after they get in, they're like, "This is not what I signed up for." That's like 9 out of 10 times. That's what they're gonna say. This is not what I signed up for. Like I had a whole different
Mhm.
vision in my head. What I was gonna do? It's like no, you're either just sitting at a post doing nothing, and that's your fucking whole tour or something, or you're trying to get supplies somewhere, but then you can't get the resources in for some whatever because some like chain of command bullshit, or you're running guns, like you're running guns to the rebels. Like, why are we arming the rebels? Like, why are we here? Type shit, type B, right? But the type B, yo, Yammer, so life did it. So it's like the troops aren't even defending anything. So I don't know where you got that idea from. Like, go talk to the troops.
There's one thing they are defending, especially in Afghanistan. They were defending the opium fields. That's what they were defending.
Based. Love heroin. It's my favorite thing to snort. That's what you do with heroin, right? And then,
absolutely.
I
snort it off of. I snorted out of diamonds, dude.
Yeah, fuck yeah. And then the other, then going to the cop end is with the cops. They have this thing where they usually sign, like most cops are bullies, right? Like they have this thing like it's a power trip.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like, so like I think there's a lot of overlap. Like the Venn diagram between cops and bullies is pretty much overlapping. Like they're high school bullies.
It's just a circle.
Yeah, just a fucking. It's very close. It's you have to zoom in, but it's not exactly a circle, but it's close enough.
It's like nurses, cops, and then like high school bullies, and it just comes together like this.
Yeah, it's the unity. It's the three mother boxes coming together, right?
Exactly. Right.
That's why.
That's why you need a white man and a robot with a black personality to separate them. That's what you need.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, I finished that over the weekend. It
was fucking good, right?
Yeah, I loved it. I was like, well, like in comparison to the last the Joss Whedon, whatever the fuck his name is.
Oh my god,
that one was shit.
Can I be really honest? I remember almost none of that movie. Like
I remember a lot.
I remember. I just remembered like. I remember like. No, I don't. Like, I can't even say I remember. Like, I remember certain scenes that were like supposed to be Snyder scenes that were recut. Like the waves and like Aquaman with the ocean and shit. Like I remember that, but like outside of that, I don't remember a fucking thing about the Joss Whedon Justice League. Like,
oh, I do. Well, like the motivations and stuff. Where like there's a lot of scenes. Like I remember like because in the original one, spoiler alert, like it started with like fear. Like these like demons were there because they smelled fear and shit, and that's what they fed off of, and that's how they closed. I'm like, that's like gay. That's like the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard of.
Yeah, now I remember.
And there was and there was like the weird like Superman. There was like a random family that was living in the house in like the like whatever fucking nuclear site that was there. Like there's people like a family living there for some reason, and they had to be saved. And the Flash was running, and Superman's like, I'm quicker than you, and I can go save them or something. It's like it was stupid. But let me finish up the cop stuff, and we can finish on Justice League, and then we'll probably call it there. But so like. And then I gotta figure out the cop stuff. Yeah, so the cop stuff is like they're bullies, right? But a lot of them, like there are probably plenty that are like, oh, I want to start the job by protecting and serving my community, right? That's like it's like an honor, like an honorable thing, right, in their minds that they're doing because they're sold on this idea that the cops protect, right? Because they don't talk to cops, and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna protect cops. The cops are so good; they're depicted so good in these shows, and the shows they're depicting corrupt police officers. It's just fluff. It doesn't really happen. Just fake TV. Never happened ever. So then, but then then the cops start working. They realize, most of their shit is not defending anyone. Like it's probably 1% of their job, like statistically, because like I think my brother's like I'm granted this is anecdotal on my part, but most cops I've ever talked to, it's like just writing tickets or whatever, or getting a house call because the cat's stuck in the tree or something. Like it's like stupid fucking calls. Like my brother got a call because one time because some old dude got his computer like ransomware on his computer, and they called the cops for it. Right.
We used to, we would get calls like that.
Yeah, well, and as a dispatcher, you see all the calls that come in that cops have to respond to, so like a lot of it's dumb shit most of the time.
Oh yeah.
So that's the thing. So I'm like, I don't know. Like I'm literally begging anyone who thinks the cops only defend unless they're gonna these people fucking think writing tickets saves lives, then I cannot talk to you because you're fucking stupid. And my IQ is about 145, so I'm not dealing with that. Not dealing with
fuck.
So like, I'm begging everybody that thinks the cops and troops are actually defending you, go talk to them and ask them about what they've done and how they felt about it, because I can guarantee you almost all of them, if not all of them, will tell you, no, we're just doing bullshit. Like, it's mostly bullshit
Yeah.
we do.
It's
Like,
funny because like I remember seeing like new cops would join either like the city police force I dealt with or like the smaller town forces, and you definitely had that at first. It was like Captain America with a badge, like 903, I'll take that report call. Ha 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 ha. And then within like 3 to 4 months, you get that 903. I'll take it. And it's just like, oh yeah, there you go, dude. That's the wall. There you go. You're either gonna like quit the job, which is smart, which is what you should do, because no, it's not what you thought it would be. It's a nightmare. Or you're gonna become one of those miserable, jaded piece of shit cops who know they don't like do everything they're cracked up to be, who know they're doing bullshit and don't care because they like the money and they like carrying a gun every day. And that's what you wind up with.
yeah. So it's just like, go talk to them.
Seriously.
What was the other things? So we'll talk about the cop stock. That Derek dude's getting off. If he doesn't, he will get
Mm.
off sooner or later. Oh, let's do a quick talk. So there's riots currently happening, right? I don't know. I don't watch the news.
Yeah.
So
There's
it's
like
just gonna get
localized, but
worse.
yeah.
It's just gonna
Oh
get
yeah.
it's gonna get worse.
I'm ready.
Didn't someone point out that all the cities where the riots are, or the mass shootings? I think it was I think it was actually mass shootings. Like all like the major mass shootings or whatever happened in like cities like run
Mm.
by like Democrats, which is stupid. Like I'm like, you know, you can make that comparison, I guess. Like to say, look, well, this is all Democrat cities. It's like, but anyone that's got an issue it doesn't matter who's running that motherfucking bitch. It's a crime
Exactly.
opportunity, right? And someone
Mhm.
pushes that. Like, that's why we need a government issued girlfriend, as Michael would say, friend of the show.
Oh my god, seriously.
Government
So
issued girlfriend.
speaking of government issued girlfriends and people agitating for riots in cities. So I, of course, have been mentally torturing myself with Tinder, and I've been noticing in the past 2 weeks like all of these like liberal like educated like women started popping up in like Salt Lake City, and they're all like they're community event organizers, and they don't have any like actual like job like places or businesses listed that they work for, and they're all very like BLM ACAB, like very like their profiles. It's your typical like Tinder girl who uses politics as a substitute for a personality. And I'm
Yep.
looking at this, and they all have the same like general format. Like they're written differently, but it's like one of those like, all right, let's all sit in a room and we're gonna do this format and put these things here, and then we're gonna talk about ourselves. But it's like BLM ACAB, quick blurb about them, and then quick blurb about like being politically active and like hitting them up to like get active in the community and shit. And I'm just like, these people are literally like baiting my poor brothers over in Salt Lake to go fucking do stupid shit all summer. These fucking overweight, chubby, fat, white liberal bitches.
Hate to see it happen.
Hate
Oh,
to see it
I
happen.
checked. I forgot to bring up about your Instagram story about Costco and how they don't take Mastercard. It's likely because of the fees, or why they don't. There's actually a reason behind it. It's not like they're just like, yeah, we don't take it. It's because I don't know if Mastercard does it. I know Discover does it.
Mm.
Is that the point system? Like, you get like cash back points or whatever like that. The businesses have to pay that.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, because
But I don't know, like because I've had like smaller businesses tell me before, like if I'm gonna use a credit card for a purchase, I have to make like a certain purchase amount, otherwise they have to pay something. So that I'm kind of used to, but like I was just so weird because like I wasn't in like some bodega in New York in like 2011. Like it's a major
yeah,
retailer in 2021, and I'm just like, y'all don't take Mastercard? Like, all right, maybe
like,
caveat emptor, sure,
well,
but
we here at like my job, we do not take American Express because of that. Like, I
well
like,
that right.
yeah.
But American Express, like that's one of those weird cards. Like even back in the day, it
Oh,
was like we'll take Visa and Mastercard, and American Express is
actually,
like,
no. Back up. We don't take Discover because of that. We do not take American Express anymore because you can refute a charge for up to like 12 months in litigation. Because some dude, I mean, this was like years ago, right? Like he had ordered a couple of these units, and we shipped them out, and he tried to say like, oh yeah, someone like if first said he's like, oh yeah, I want to return them like way after, I was like,
Like, no.
well, like, no, we can't do that. I'm like, what's wrong with him? Like, oh, nothing. And then he tried to say that someone stole his card and purchased it. I'm like, yeah, but it went to your address. And he was like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, like, and then he changed his tune to whatever. And he ended up sending it back on his own dime without telling us, so he didn't even get an RMA from us. And I got it. I like the UPS guy rolled up with it. And I was like, oh, these? I'm like, yeah, I'm refusing this shipment. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah, I'm not taking it. Take it back. He's like, okay. But the guy, I mean, for 12 months, he was trying to get his money back for that. It was a couple $1,000s. He's trying to do it. So after that, the boss man was like, yeah, fuck, no more American Express. Not fucking doing it.
Yeah, fuck that shit. Like, I get maybe why, like, if you use it for business purchases, I can understand, like, if you're doing, like, your fucking reports at the end of your fiscal year and you're like, oh shit, I didn't need 3 of these. But, like, he's like, oh yeah, no, I received them. I have them. They're great. They work fine.
They were
And he was like,
used
oh, wait,
too. That was the thing.
they were
He
used?
tried to say they were sitting in his garage or whatever. When they came back,
Yeah.
I could tell they were open and retaped because I'm like, I would like it was taped to fucking shit. I'm like, why would you
Nah,
retape it if you never opened it, right?
exactly.
Suck my ass. So yeah, but like,
From the back.
we'll go back to the card stuff. Like Kroger, I guess stopped one Kroger somewhere. I guess stopped taking Visa because of the swipe charges, the swipe fees and shit. So it's like there's
Uh-huh.
something going on. Like every credit card company's got something weird like that.
Right.
Where that
I guess my thing was just like, I guess I just wasn't expecting it.
yeah,
Like, nobody like, okay, Costco's for bulk shit. Okay, sure. So like, I go there, and I'm just like, all right, this is bulk. When they say bulk, they mean bulk. Like, I thought I could get like a smaller bulk size, but no, it's you either buy bulk or fuck you. So like, when I eventually have a wife and 8 kids, or I don't know, fuck, sure, I can totally understand
why
the
so little
appeal, but like,
kids?
I don't know why so little kids,
Yeah, why only
because
eight, bro?
I wanted to give her a break before we start, like, going
Okay,
up to
okay,
16.
okay, fair, fair.
Fucking yeah.
So all right, well that pretty much
Okay.
covered because we don't really need to talk about anyone who has not watched the latest Justice League. Maybe we'll talk about with Yimra because maybe he's watched it.
Yeah, he
We'll,
might he
talk,
might
we'll
want to
talk
have his
about
input.
that. Like that all next, like the next episode, and then why and the problems with the latest episode, which I don't know if I had any real significant ones, but then again, I don't read comic books. But that is it for today. Ben,
Word.
thank you for gracing me with your beautiful presence as always. And to
You
everyone
as well,
else,
sir. You as well.
catch you next week.